All right, so I'm going to record this because I'm going to do a deep dive on the build planner on d4builds.gg. Shout out to their site; they got a really nice planner here. So, it's not like a review of their site. I'm just looking at their Paragon board, which obviously, as beta players, we didn't even get to see it yet. So, looking at the vastness of this system, I'm not only impressed, I'm super excited for it. I'm actually really excited to have a deeper, feature to build our characters behind, because this, I'm in dark mode, so it makes their thing look horrible, but I'll take it off temporarily. There we go. The skill builder, it's a little bland, right? Okay, it's not a little bland, let's be honest. It's so simple, so simplified that it leaves anyone with any... I'm not talking about skill level, I'm not talking about how dedicated you are to gaming, but like if you have any experience in games at all, you've played a lot of RPGs, you've played a lot of games that you can like make character builds, this probably seems really bland to you. No matter how casual of a gamer you are, it's a pretty bland system. But it gives enough customization to, really make a build out of it. Going from that to the Paragon board was awesome. This is a really nice thing to see. Not only do we obviously have the legendaries, the affixes that really change our build a lot, we have a Paragon board, which is huge. This is, and I mean that in two different ways. It's huge because it's a fantastic system, and huge because it is big. It's got a lot of choices to make, and this is just the starting board. And between you and me, and everyone else that happens to see this video at some point, the PoE skill tree, okay, I'm going to pull this up on stream. This, to me, this is as a very, very hardcore MMO player, RPG player, this is overwhelmingly huge. I've played PoE, I've seen all the content, I've done my hardcore playthrough. It's fun. I had a great time in it. I will never touch the game again. Maybe PoE 2, not really a huge fan of PoE. But, you got to respect it for what it is. You respect for what it did for the ARPG world. It created something like this, which is... any player that gets into this is going to be like, whoa, okay, let me deep dive into this system, or let me Alt F4 and quit. It's not very approachable. However, Diablo 4 pretty much has this in it. You don't realize it yet, you don't see it, but D4 essentially has this in it. Pretty much the exact same system in this format. Now you might be saying, no, it doesn't. Look how small it is. Okay, watch this. We'll go to the... we'll go through these a little bit more in depth in a second, but I'm looking at the Barbarian, and I'm going to make it all the way to the end of the first Paragon board. This is the starting tile. We spend all our points, we get to the end. When we click the end, we need to pick what our last node is going to be. We can choose. I'm going to say, well, let's do something a little bit more interesting than helping you stay alive. Killing a bleeding enemy has a 10% chance to grant Berserking for 5 seconds. Huge for bleed builds, right? When you're clearing the world. Okay, while Berserking, critical strikes increase your attack speed by 2% up to 10% for 6 seconds. Huge Berserking build. Whatever, we're going to pick one, right? We're going to pick... enemies that are afflicted by bleeding for more than 3 seconds take 15% increased damage from you. Really good for world boss type stuff. We're going to pick that. That is going to launch a new board based off Hemorrhage, which I just chose. That was my final node that I chose at the end of this first tree. I chose that node, Hemorrhage, and that is going to open the tree that is associated with that. So now I have all these extra nodes that I could pick to continue my my build. You'll see there's, if you look at here, look at this section here, a lot of damage over time stuff. Physical damage over time, because that Hemorrhage thing was a bleed-oriented node. I chose that. It opened a board that had bleed-oriented stuff in it. It's not just bleed stuff, but a lot of the things in it is around that design, that mindset. 6.5% damage taken over time reduction. That's for you. So it's not always about the node you pick, because you do need a little bit of variety. If you're playing hardcore, okay, you want your damage, but you still want your survivability nodes. I'm sure there's some health nodes in here somewhere. Damage reduction, stuff like that. But there's some poison resist, armor, so it's not all related to bleed, but that's picking this node. The game knows, obviously, they're going to build the node around that playstyle. You picked a bleed node. There should be bleed-oriented stuff in this tree, right? And there is. So that's very smart, very simple idea. Board attachment gate. We're going to go over to this one. Now we get to pick another legendary node. I'll pick the Warbringer one, which is actually quite important for staying alive. And this build will let you delete the board and choose another one. But the Warbringer one was, for every 75 Fury you spend, you gain 20% of your maximum life as Fortify. Helps you stay alive in hardcore. That's huge. Obviously, we have another node here. And I'm going to keep going here. I'm not going to look at the node specifically, really. I'm going to fill this thing out because I want to show you guys what the system ends up looking like. And remember, I said that Diablo 4 essentially has PoE's board there, PoE skill passive board, whatever they call it. It essentially has it. Look, we're starting to get there, right? It's starting to look pretty big, pretty vast. But Diablo 4 feeds it to you in smaller increments. It is just so much easier for someone to wrap their head around, and I truly appreciate the thought behind it. Maybe that's not even their thought, I don't know. But that's how it plays out in reality. It's just easier to grasp, easier to make a build. This is cool. This is cool. I should actually go over this. Glyph socket, all right? When you get to one of these and you click it, rare glyphs, look at this, bonus, grants plus 40% bonus to all magic nodes within range. Additional bonus, you deal 8% increased damage while wielding one-handed weapons. Grants 40% bonus to all magic nodes within range. Watch this. I'm going to activate that, and it's going to show the range. Magic doesn't mean like casting. Magic means the quality. So you see the blue one, magic node, magic node, magic node. That is plus 40% to those nodes. So they're better. So what else do we have here? For every 5 strength purchased within range, you deal 1.5% increased damage while wielding an axe. While wielding an axe, you deal 12% increased critical strike damage. The builds are amazing. The in-depth builds and customization you can do because of this system is just fantastic. Now we're not talking, okay, dual wield versus two-hander. We're talking specific axe weapon types now, and that's an axe one, you know, so it's getting real specific. And okay, now I'm going to pick another node here, legendary node. Damaging enemies with a one-handed weapon increases your critical strike chance by 1% for 2 seconds, up to 5%. This can only happen once per skill cast or twice per second while channeling Whirlwind. I'm going to grab that. That's going to open the next node. And I'm already close to finishing the entire thing, so I'm gonna play it out. I'm gonna put the entire build in here so we can see what it looks like in the end. I have 88 points remaining, so you can build around getting to the legendary nodes as quickly as possible, and grabbing as many legendary nodes as you can, and unlocking all of these trees. And we'll come down with this one. For the direction you go doesn't really matter, I suppose. You're just trying to reach a gate. And we're going to add the last one there. And I have 46 points remaining. So obviously this isn't in the best design ever, but I have 46 points remaining, but that would be the end. That's the final legendary node. And I'm going, and there's nothing saying you have to go for all legendary nodes. And you probably are, well, you're definitely not going to. There's going to be legendary nodes that don't really function well with your build, right? So you'd want to spend a little bit more time, you know, grabbing these yellow rare nodes, stuff like that. 10% damage to vulnerable enemies, 10 strength. Bonus, another 10% damage to vulnerable enemies if requirements are met. Requirement, 540 dexterity. So that's a build around vulnerability, keeping enemies vulnerable, doing more damage to them. And you have a bleed, one-handed axe, vulnerable, berserking build. You know, you can do that, and that's just, it really excites me. Let's say that. You can tell. Is that a gun in your pants, or are you just excited for the Diablo 4 builds? It's Diablo 4 builds. This is awesome. I'm loving this. I really am. And let's look at this. 4.5% damage reduction from close enemies. Love that. 10 strength bonus. Another 4.5% damage reduction from close enemies if requirements are met. That's willpower. That's amazing. I love this. I love how in-depth this is, but I appreciate them feeding it to you in a smaller batch. So we have, when you log in, well, not when you log into the game, when you first unlock the Paragon system, you're met with this. You're met with this. You're starting out at the bottom, and you're working your way through. What do I want to get? What do I want to get? Okay, I'm going to grab this glyph socket and put something cool in it. Let's see. Plus, for every 5 strength purchase within range, deal 1.5% increased damage while wielding a sword. Additional bonus, while wielding a sword, you gain 3 fury when you kill an enemy. So we picked that up, and it's for every 5 strength purchased, and we have a fair amount of strength nodes here. We have another strength node there. We have a strength node there. I just did that off the top of my head, and that's probably a pretty damn good choice right there. For every 5 strength, you deal 1.5% increased damage while wielding a sword. So there's a bunch of strength here. You can pick up more strength. Oh, that's physical damage. There's some more strength there, so you can really make that rare node as strong as possible. I love this. I absolutely love this. I think this is a great concept, a great system, and it still gives the amount of customization as a system like this without seeing this the second you log in, because this is like, what do I do with this? It's a little overwhelming. It really is. Because me, as someone that really cares about how well they do in a game, and they care about their entire build, I'll spend hours not even playing the game, doing, okay, I'm starting as this character, I'm going to make my way down here, then I'm gonna cut back this way for this thing, and I mean, obviously you would never do this in a real build, but, you know, I'm doing stuff like this, I'm planning my entire build out, and this is what you're looking at, you're like, I don't know, it's a little much, but it's a great system because of how in-depth the builds end up being, and how much you can customize your builds and how many different choices you can make. And it's fun, right? It's fun reaching cool different things that you can adjust your playstyle with. But it is a lot to look at. So this is genius. This is genius to me. I think this is really cool. So not only is it like fed to you in small intervals, you can like do your build for just this board and keep going. You keep going, you don't like the next board. And the cool thing is, you don't need to look at the entire thing like this, because the next part of the build is going to be a completely different board. You know, I know I'm playing hardcore. I'm going to go from the starting board probably straight to Warbringer, which is the one that gives you the temporary health when you use Fury. So I can look at the starting board and the Warbringer board, and I know I'm set for the beginning of my hardcore play. I'm good to go for a while. I know what I'm doing here, and I don't need to plan out the whole damn thing. I can't say anything else other than good stuff. I have nothing bad to say about the system. I love it. I think Blizzard did an excellent job with this, and I think a lot of people were misled about the amount of not misled makes it sound like it's Blizzard's fault. They were, I don't know, they didn't look into the full game's customization and character building system, because looking just at the skill tree, yeah, it's pretty bland. It's okay, it's not pretty bland. Going from that Paragon system and for the Path of Exile passive tree, this looks laughable, right? It looks tiny, small. There's not much to go there. I'm an ARPG expert. I'm not touching that. I'm a big PoE dude, all right? I'm a huge expert. You know how those people are. I can't be seen playing this game. It's for casual kids. There's a big system. There's a really nice little, you know, surprise, in-depth build system there at the end, and I'm honestly surprised to see it's as in-depth as it is, but broken down into a nice, easy to learn, easy to use system. But it's always like that. What is it? Easy to use, difficult to master. It still is, right? You still got to put thought behind your build, and that's cool. You don't want to lose that. This is a really nice middle ground. What's that? To every 75 Fury you spend, gain 12% of your maximum life is fortified. Oh, I think I just learned something. I think you actually have to get to the legendary node when you place it. You don't just get it instantly, but that is the main node of that board. So you got to get there to unlock it. So you're essentially choosing the board with that legendary. And that's obviously a set board. Every time I pick this, it's going to be the Warbringer board. And let's do one quick test before I end this. I'm going to pick Carnage, the Berserking one. So there's the Berserking legendary. There it is, the Carnage. And there's a bunch of Berserking stuff there. But if I go all the way to the left now, if I go to the left and I pick the same thing, what is that board going to look like? We'll just pick something random. We are going to delete that board on the right for a second. So remember this board, right? We are coming in from the left side. We hit an intelligence node right away. But if we come from the right, we start with a strength node. But the legendary node is a bit further. So watch this. This is a theory. I haven't tested this. We're going to learn together. Ready? I'm going to pick the Carnage. Yep. I'm coming in on the right side from the strength node. That adds even more customizability and a lot of thought behind your build. Where are you going to enter the board from? Maybe you decide the Carnage board, I have to make sure I enter that from the right side, which means I need to put it in the left side of a board I already have. And the starting board only has an exit through the top. So you'd want to make sure the next board you pick, you're happy with the nodes at the bottom, because you have to come in from the bottom on the second node. Then you get the left, top, and right to leave from. Choose your next one. This board, maybe I don't want to grab an intelligence node and willpower nodes here. Maybe that's something I'm trying to avoid, and I want to grab the strength nodes right off the bat. Get as much strength as I can. There's still dexterity here. I have to pick up that. More willpower, that's always good. The glyph socket, but it's a little bit further from the legendary node. So there's customization there. There's even more. Anyway, enough for anything. That was awesome. Really opened my eyes to how vast the skill system truly is, and how much you can really do in this game. And again, shout out to d4builds.gg. You can save your build. You can get started right now, make a build, save it, know what you're doing before the game starts. I mean, that's cool, right? Being able to do the full build, that's great and all, but having someone log into a game and see the full system right off the bat, overwhelming. A lot of people don't want to see that. They don't want to be overwhelmed with information. Good system. I really like it. I got nothing bad to say about it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Wait a minute. Before I leave this video, one other thing. That rotate board thing is a feature in the game. So you don't really need to overthink what side you're coming in from. You just need to rotate and come in from the side you want. So you plan your entry and your exit for the board. You don't have to think at what point you're going to attach that other board, which I could take it either way. I would accept either option. Having the ability to rotate does one really nice thing. If you really want a node early on, but you don't want to come in from the bottom, you are screwed. Because that would mean you can't take that. Let's say I really want Warbringer to help me stay alive in hardcore. That would mean I couldn't take that as my second one after the starting if I wanted to come in from anywhere but the bottom. But now, since I just discovered you can rotate in this system, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can just rotate where you want it. At least it gives you access to the legendary node as soon as you want to use that board. You don't have to wait to come in from the right direction. This is a pretty damn nice system. I'm excited to actually really deep dive into this and make some builds. Well, we have plenty of time before the game launches, so let's get building.